Welcome back to the channel, guys, and another video on the Fiat Barchetta. So as you've seen in the previous videos, we've been focusing on the interior, getting the steering wheel changed and the centre console wrapped. Now it's time to look at the driver's side leather seat, which has got a bit of damage to it. Let me show you in a bit more detail what I mean. Right, so as you can see, it's probably not uncommon, but on the Fiat anyway, this Fiat Barchetta, the driver's side seat is a bit sort of further forward than the sort of pillar here. So when you're getting in and out, you're always brushing against the seat there, and sort of over time, particularly on a high mileage car, because it's getting a lot of use, you've got the leather there which is worn out. And on mine, in fact, you've got a bit of a split there as well, which will need to be sort of sorted out. So what we're going to do today, we're going to fix this. We're going to rub it all down, recolor it, and fix that split with a bit of leather filler paste, which would sort of save quite a bit of money actually on going to a leather upholsterer to get it all sort of remade or restitched or even sort of recovered completely. So there's quite a bit of work to do there. Anyway, keep watching till the end because it's a step-by-step process, and if you sort of miss any of the steps and you try and do it yourself at home, then you're not going to get a sort of good result at the end. Okay, so let's crack on. So here's the repair kit I'm going to use. You can get these from any sort of leather repair specialist, Amazon or eBay. What I would say is if you get one from eBay or Amazon, get one that's got good reviews that other people have used and they've had sort of good results with. Because obviously, you know, if you're doing this for the first time, you want to sort of be sure you've got the best kit available. So in the box we've got a little applicator there for the dye that we're going to colour it with. You get a little repair patch there which you put behind the leather, sort of on top of the sponge, and that's where we'll sort of put our filler on top of that and repair the little crack split that we've got. Not a lot there, but I think that should be enough to fill up for us to sort of fill in our little sort of split and sort of make the repair good. You also get a little patch to practice on. You get a big bottle of colour dye there, black, and a bit of glue there to glue your patch in. But obviously if you're not repairing black and you've got a different colour, then you have to mix up and get the colour that you need using sort of a combination of sort of other colours that you get here. So it's a bit lucky really we've got black to do, because that might be a bit of a nightmare getting the exact match. Right, you also get a little leather prep pad which you use to sort of clean the leather before you start any work, and also a little bit of 1200 grit paper there to rub everything down before we put the dye on. And then with the dye is sort of it's like an all-in-one liquid, so you don't have to worry about sealing it again afterwards. Right, there's our repair kit. Let's crack on. So I'm just going to cover up here so I don't get any sort of mess on the seat. Alright, I'm going to start with the leather prep pad that was in the kit. I'm just going to clean everything first before I start rubbing down. So the only thing that worries me a little bit about this is the stitching. So obviously the stitching's a different colour to the leather. Hopefully I can avoid getting any black on the stitching, but it might be a bit difficult. Right, you can see where I've rubbed it down, it's lost a lot of the shine, which is what we want. It's taken the sort of top layer of the dye off. So next is to put our piece of sort of backing into the slit to give the filler something to push against and to seal against. So I've got more there than I need, so I'm just gonna trim it, because the split, you can see the split is sort of there to there, so I just use just enough to go in. So I'm going to cut a little piece to size. Right, that's a little trick I saw on YouTube, so it was going to work. Oh yeah, it works. Right, that's in there. Try and get some glue in here then. Hopefully that's enough to keep the backing in place. So I've just got to wait for that to dry now. And what you can do with all these steps is you can actually use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process and save yourself a bit of time. Right, so next we've got our filler. So that's only taking about 5 or 10 minutes to dry in there. So I'll put our filler in, and any other sort of deep parts. I'm not too worried about sort of that crack in there, so I'm just going to sand it down afterwards and then recolour it with the black, so it should be alright there. So apparently the trick here is just to use small bits, thin layers. Right, I think I'll leave that to dry. And I can always go over it again afterwards if it doesn't sort of seem like it's sort of filled the hole properly. But the rest of the stuff isn't sort of split, it's just scuffs, and I'll sand that down afterwards. So let's see how that dries off, and then hopefully I won't need another coat. Right, it's the next day. I've put a little bit more filler on top of the crack just to make it that little bit better, finish it off a little bit more even, and I'll show you now. Right, so here's what I've done. As you can see, I've put a bit more filler on there. I think that should be enough. That's the only place that needs it really. So I'm going to use the hairdryer to dry it out quickly, because I can't wait sort of 2 hours for it to dry. And then we're going to sand it down and put the black dye back on and try and finish off. I'll start rubbing down all the area that we're going to recolour. Alright, let's get some black dye in. There's a few ways you can do this. You could sort of spray it with like a small sort of modelling spray gun or brush for the sort of the fine areas. Just dried that quite well. Right, so the repair's looking quite good. Few little bits left to touch up, but what I might do, I think I'll put it outside and get it in sort of natural light and see how it looks. The last few little bits I'll do with a brush, I think, not the sponge, then I can sort of get right up close to the edge and hopefully not getting too much black on the stitching. Alright, I'm just going to put some tape over the stitching, try and protect it as best I can. I'll just take the tape off and then I'll go over the bits that have been masked. It's already looking a lot better. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Looks pretty good, I think, for first attempt. Alright, just got these last few bits to do, and then I think we're done. Alright, let's have a look, see how it turned out. Right, there we go. As you can see, the split's gone, all the colour's back. already coloured this bit here and down there. Managed to save sort of some of the stitching as well without colouring it too much. So yeah, looks good. As you can see as well, it's a good sort of solid repair. So yeah, really pleased with that. Let's just see it from the other side as well. Yeah, chuffed with that. Really pleased. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and you'll get a sneak peek of what's going on with the channel. Also hit the notifications bell and you'll get a little reminder when the next video drops.